All right, well, it's time for another devlog. Made a little more progress here on the game. Not perfect by any means. I do have an enemy set up. We got this little Medusa enemy. Probably going to be more of a mid-level enemy. Just getting something going here. Did set up a raycast 2D. So this raycast right here, this little arrow, will point towards the player at all times. And then once the player gets within a certain distance, it will begin to follow the player. And then if it gets even closer, it goes to an attack phase. And the one thing that I'm trying to learn about is, and I've never done this before, but set up like a finite state machine with separate scripts to handle the different states that the enemy can be in. So there's like an idle, a follow, attack, and a hurt state. There probably will be a death state as well, but I don't have any sort of that animation done yet. Right now I'm just like freeing the queue and just removing the enemy once they're dead. But I do want to add some sort of effect there. Play some sort of death animation or whatever. So I'm trying this two different ways. That's the player. I set up a finite state machine for that, but with the player, I decided that I was going to do it a little different. Rather than setting up the state machine on the player, I'm trying it with everything being in one file. The reason I'm doing that is I'm trying to learn when to use a state machine and when to just code everything in the one file. My brain will probably favor having these state machines set up as classes with just a small amount of code in them, and then having the state machine class kind of change these states. I kind of like that idea, but it gets pretty there's kind of a lot of boilerplate to set up with this, so I'm not sure I'm going to end up liking the state machine. But anyway, I figured what I'd do is do one main player with all the code in one file, do an enemy with a state machine, and then by the end of the project I'll have some pros and cons of how I like working and how I want to structure my code there. So I know you guys out there might have some opinions what's better, but since I'm new at this, I don't really have any strong opinions, so I'm going to try it both ways. And there's probably even other ways outside of that, but anyhow, so I got an enemy that has different, it can follow the player, it can take damage, and then I have a fireball that I created that will shoot from the player. It's kind of a mage character, and this collision shape, when it hits the player, the enemy will hurt the enemy. I also have it set up to where when it hits a wall, it gets rid of it, so you can't shoot through walls to get to enemies and things like that. So I'll kind of give you a little demo here. So I can shoot, and I don't have a animation set up yet, and it shoots in the direction that you last face. So if I can shoot at an angle, and if I get close to that enemy, you can see that the enemy does follow me. When you see the enemy stop right there, that's actually when it enters the attack state. I don't have the attack state done yet, so I need an animation for the attack, and then a hit box and a hurt box on the player. But I do have the see if the enemy stops for a fraction of a second when it's stunned from being hit, and if I hit him 10 times, it does kill the enemy. Also, if I shoot up and it hits that wall, it will stop. So if I go over by this door and shoot up where there's no collision, it just keeps going. The one thing that I wanted to do was add like a lifetime to this fireball, so that I can't just infinitely spawn these in and hurt performance. Because I'm probably going to put some sort of particle effect on this as well. Right now I have a light effect on it where it does emit a little bit of a light with it. If I turn I'm not sure if I like it or not. If I turn the light off, it looks like that. I'm just kind of learning the 2D light stuff, and I don't want to overdo it, but I do kind of like it. I might just play with it a little bit more, and see if it's something that I want to keep. But I'd like to add a little bit of a particle effect, like a little bit of a smoke or a trail of fire behind it. If I do that, I may not need that light effect. I don't know. I don't know. Anyhow, that's kind of where I'm at. We got the ability to hurt enemies. It might be a little too easy right now with the enemy speed and the stun time. I may need to adjust all of that, but yeah, I need to make also right now the idle state. When you stop moving, it always idles with the character facing south, and it looks odd to shoot in a different direction, like especially like that one. So what I think I'm gonna do is what direction you're going and you stop, I'm gonna create an idle state for that direction and just keep facing the same direction so that I can shoot in that last direction and it makes sense. So not 100% sure why I can shoot diagonally, but if I stop it, it only shoots left or right. Not certain on that. So I gotta do some discovery on that. But yeah, the fireballs can be blocked by things in the environment as well, like this little statue. So basically, it has a collision detection on it. These things here too, like stop it. The other thing I don't like is I want the wall to stop the fireball. But when I go all the way up to the wall and I try to shoot to the right, that fireball is still hitting that collision shape on the wall. And I don't know if that's maybe because my collision shape's really low. We could probably look at that, but basically I need to figure out a way for that. You should be able to shoot a fireball along the wall without it hitting and getting rid of the fireball. So that's a little bit something I got to clean up. But if I go to the main scene here and we go to the tile map, I'll kind of show you. Let's see. Let's go to the tile set and look at the wall. So if you look kind of in this area here, this is the wall sprites that I set up. So go to the paint tool and we select the physics layer. Yeah, you can see that the physics layer is just drawn on this. So I'm not sure why. Maybe what I can do, I hate to do this, but maybe I can draw that up a little higher and that'll stop that fireball from hitting that. I don't know. I want the fireball to hit that collision if it's going this direction, but you should be able to shoot alongside of that. So I need to like play with that a little bit, because the collision on these statues and stuff, since they're supposed to be like 3 to E kind of, the collision's only on the bottom. And that's true with the wall as well, but yeah, I need to figure that out, because that's annoying. If I go up here, I can't shoot the enemy who's coming near me unless I get off the wall a little bit. I mean, I gotta get off the wall. How much do I have to be off the wall? And I gotta be off the wall quite a bit. Maybe, see, it doesn't collide until here. Yeah, I'm really not sure. The collision's way down. Anyway, I can play with that. It might be this marker 2D. I brought this up pretty high so that the fireball emanates from this marker. So it kind of looks like his arms come out of his cloak once we get that animation done. Anyway, yeah, you guys can tell I'm really far from having any sort of game, but this is like two major sessions, maybe three of work. So yeah, it's just kind of is what it is. I do like this, that you can do this. This is something new that I discovered through various tutorials, but if you turn on visible collision shapes and play the game, this is helpful for debugging. I can see that raycast 2D, and then I can actually see the collision shapes on everything. So I wonder if, so you can see that collision shape on that fireball. And you see that raycast, once I go out of it, it's blue, and once I get touching it, it's red. So that's when the follow thing starts. It's just so weird that this is even a problem. I know it's because of that wall. Oh, so that marker's up here on the player. So the fireball comes from up here, so that's why the collision's way up here. So when I walk all the way up to here, the fireball's coming out here, so it's already on that collision. Huh. That is really interesting. I do want it to come out the middle of the player though, not down by his feet, so I gotta figure that out a little bit. Maybe that's something I can't solve, I don't know. Alright guys, well, that's it for this devlog. Making some progress, don't be too hard on me, but yeah, that's where we're at. Peace out.